All right, friends, it's Timon. We're back with a Coach Blaha video. Blaha. Anyways, we're gonna react to the gym, lifting, recruiting, fitness, scarce name himself, JasonBlaha. So in this video, Blaha says, does strict form cause better gains than loose form? Man. A form doesn't build muscle, man. People, this guy, he'll come up with anything that builds a muscle. Maybe watching TV. If you watch TV this way instead of watching it this way, will it build a muscle?
Does good form actually cause better gains? Hey, everybody, it's Jason Blaha here.
Wow, man, this is just ridiculous. Does this cause better forms? Better form? Look, man, bodybuilding is not fucking rocket science. Just damage the muscle. You understand? It has to have a relative amount of damage. Now, you could spend 20 years or 30 years like these guys doing full range of motion, trying to eke out some damage that maybe it will remodel. Maybe you ate a little bit more than the last time. Maybe in that whatever full range of motion you did, maybe you there was some intensity that day. Maybe there was some duration, I don't know. Or maybe, yeah, because you went all the way to failure, you failed on some reps or something. So you managed to get the muscle to do what? Maybe it did something it was unaccustomed to, and it said, you know what, I've got to remodel. When they tell you in science, unaccustomed exercise, unfamiliar forms, and untrained muscles can get widespread muscle damage. Well, yeah, that could be something you've done in your exercise for once that you were unaccustomed to doing. I don't know. Maybe the intensity, you're unaccustomed to the intensity that day. The duration, I'm not sure. Or you went to failure for the first time, so you're unaccustomed. But we don't have to do that. You understand me? You don't really have to do that. Just focus on the eccentric. But they definitely help to eke out gains. See what I mean? It really helps in the eccentric. But wow, you don't have to spend 30 years there, full range of motion, trying to eke out damage from the eccentric because it's, man, imprisoned by your concentric.
We'll chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today. But a quick reminder, if you guys will please click like down below, we greatly appreciate it. If you're not...
Look, let's just put it this way. 30 years of whatever gains you get in 30 years or 35 years, okay, let's just say you got some gains in 35 years of lifting. It took you 35 years to maybe build, I don't know, let me see, maybe 15 pounds of muscle in 30 years. If you're lucky, maybe 20. Maybe, let's just say, okay, I'm going to be generous, 20 pounds in 35 years of lifting. You gained 20 pounds of muscle. Well, you could have gained that 20 pounds probably within a couple of months of lifting eccentrically. Do you understand me? So what was the point? What is the point of lifting if you could gain it eccentrically in a couple of months, which took you 35 years to gain 20 pounds?
Or subscribe, please do so. And if you would be kind enough to drop...
It doesn't pay to be stubborn. You people understand me? It doesn't pay in this world to be a stubborn donkey. My mom once taught me that. She says it doesn't pay to be a stubborn donkey. Yeah. Too many people eat too fast and they choke on it. Anyway, so look at Blaha. Even he's waking up. He's doing a lot of his exercises eccentrically. He is. Even if it isn't a full range of motion. But he's doing it eccentric. He's doing the eccentric in the full range. Look.
Leave me a comment down below. I would appreciate that so much, so thank you.
See his dips? He's going down further because he realized. But he's still stubborn. He doesn't need to go all the way up to the top. And here's the thing. If he truly wants to eke out more gains with heavier weight, just focus on the eccentric part, the accentuated eccentric. You don't even have to go up. Just go down with gravity. The more you keep going down with gravity, as many as you can muster, you're going to build up and get a lot stronger.
All right, let's get over to the topic. Does it actually cause better gains?
No.
A lot of people feel it does.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't build gains.
I'm going to say there's a lot more nuance to it than that. Both observing the real world, observing amazing.
Blah. Damage is what causes growth. Whether you're splitting fibers, damaging fibers, and splitting means damaging anyways. So, man, it's all the same thing. It comes back to damage, dude.
Champion bodybuilders, and then looking at some of the research.
Even if you're doing mediated, this so-called mediated stretching, you're stretching a muscle fiber to do what? Think about it. I'm going to do mediated stretching. Well, you're doing mediated stretching, but what is it causing to the muscle? Damage. It's causing a specific kind of damage. Look, man, all the growth happens in the eccentric in exercise. Why? None of the growth happens in the concentric. Everything happens in the eccentric. Why? What? Because of the stretch, bro. Get it? The stretch. Mediated stretch, eccentric. This causes damage, bro. Get it? It's all damage, okay? The people are going to argue with me. They're going to come. I'm going to debunk you. There's more ways to get hypertrophy. There's more ways to get hypertrophy. Yeah, there are two ways. Get it? There's myofibrillar and there's sarcoplasmic. But myofibrillar is based on damage. Get it? So, yeah, they're going to argue, there's two ways to get hypertrophy. If I punch you in the head, it will hypertrophy. Well, yeah. You know what I mean? If you punch enough times, it'll hypertrophy for sure. Yeah. I mean, if you drink gallons of milk, your muscle may hypertrophy too. Get it? Drinking gallons of milk or water or whatever, pumping water in there. So yeah, or getting the pump will hypertrophy. Lactic acid will hypertrophy. Inflammation will hypertrophy muscle. Get it? You understand me, bro? Fucking man. People need to wake up.
Just looked at it, and you know what? Here's what I'm going to say. Oftentimes, fairly loose form, even a degree of cheating, if you look at the real world.
Yeah. The real world.
Produces pretty dang good bodybuilders in many cases. Arnold Schwarzenegger had really loose.
Oh, here we go with the fake bodybuilders. They're not bodybuilders. They're not bodybuilding. Christ. They lifted conventionally and it failed. So they took steroids. It's cosmetic. They're not bodybuilding, or maybe, I guess, building non-contractile proteins. Do you consider that bodybuilding? I don't know, man. Look at Kevin Levrone. He would go on cycle on a drug, and then he'd go off the drugs, and then he'd look like a regular dude, like he never lifted weights, bro, get it? Because it's cosmetic, it's fake.
Form. Ronnie Coleman had really loose form. Branch Warren.
They had nothing.
Schwarzenegger had really loose form.
They had nothing. Zero fake.
Ronnie Coleman had really loose form. Branch Warren has horrific form.
They're so stupid. They could have done anything and their bodies would have looked like that anyways on those drugs. All you have to do is go to the gym and pump. Hell, you could pump twice a day. I knew people on steroids, they go twice a day to the gym and pump. Yeah, they would go there, keep going there, man. They practically lived in the gym. They were pumping is what they were doing. They were pumping. But in bodybuilding, you can't damage muscles twice a day in the gym, bro. Get it? You can't damage them every day in the gym or every other day or every third day or fourth day or fifth day. There's protection mechanisms for muscles being damaged, like the repeated bout effect phenomena. And there are other factors. You could get rhabdo and fucking end up in a stupor, in a coma, and die. It's impossible. It's impossible. Get it? So why would they go every day to a gym, a real bodybuilder? That would defeat the purpose. You damage once. You go through a really massive damaging cycle once, and you give it time to repair and remodel. Unless, of course, you want to cause very minute damage by going every day to the gym or every other day, whatever, bro. And then hoping in 35 years you may gain 5 pounds of muscle. Hello.
got crazy jack. Now people will say, well, what about all they're using a lot of stuff. Well, yeah, probably a factor.
Yeah, they were crazy jacked. They pumped the sarcoplasm up like a bicycle pump.
Because then, any fatigue that stimulates the muscle is going to cause growth for them.
Yeah, think about it. You have muscles and they look a certain way. You're right? And you pump them up with the sarcoplasm. They pump up. Well, the more you pump them up, the more they protrude. When they protrude, especially with low body fat, right? Like if you have low body fat and you expand the sarcoplasm, it causes the muscle to protrude. So it looks a certain way, cosmetic. You understand me? It gives you this nice cosmetic look because it's protruding, it's pumping everything out. But building myofibulars, right? You're building real muscle is not exactly protruding. It's not being pumped to its limit to push everything out. See what I mean? I'm not saying you're not going to look good building myofibulars. You're going to look a lot denser, believe me. When your friends look at you, they're going to see your muscle is going to look a lot denser, okay, than with this huge amount of sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. But you still get some sarcoplasmic hypertrophy regardless, even in an eccentric exercise. You have to, bro, get it? You have to. You need some, okay? So, man, you will get a cosmetic look, but it won't be as cosmetic-y as these crazy people that are pumping their muscles out with drugs. So they use drugs to pump it absolutely to the limit. You understand me? Can you do that as a natural person? Yeah. Eat a lot of complex carbohydrates and go pumping in the gym, bro. Hell, you could go there every day. Go twice a day. Go buy a 100-pound bag of potatoes and wolf them down like crazy and keep pumping. Wolf them down before you go to the gym, pump, and wolf them down after you go. And keep wolfing them down all day, okay? Till you go to sleep, okay? Wake up and keep pumping them again. See what I mean? And you'll get this beautiful steroidal cosmetic look. You did it naturally. Hurrah, hurrah. You built sarcoplasmic hypertrophy muscles naturally. Man, you need a clap? Should I clap for you or what? You need a medal or a chest to pin it on? Huh? You need a medal or a chest to pin it on, dude. Come on, man. So whether you did it naturally or took a steroid would have never mattered anyways because it's fake. That's why people are always complaining in the gym, even these natural guys. My gains are going. They're always saying that. I see these crazy people in the gym. My gains are going. I have to go to the gym and I have to maintain my gains. What are you talking about? Gyms don't maintain myofibular growth, bro. They damage muscles and then you grow them at home. I got to go to the gym and maintain my gains. What gains are you maintaining in the gym then? It's sarcoplasmic, bro. Get it? It's fake gains you're maintaining. Christ.
But it's stimulating fatigue. So, here's the real question then. Have studies looked at it? People are like, well, that's and those guys. Well, what about data? Well,
I love this. It's stimulating fatigue. Man, we aren't endurance athletes, dude.
You look at the research largely suggests.
Let me explain something to all you people out there. Bodybuilding is not an endurance sport. So you lifting concentrically is based on endurance. Eccentric exercise is not based on endurance whatsoever. You absorb energy. You don't lose energy. Get it? Running up a stairwell concentrically exhausts the fuck out of you. It's based on endurance lifting, you fools. But eccentric exercise, running down a stairwell, you don't get tired. There's nothing going on there, bro. Christ.
That the same thing. Okay? That's going to be a shock. In this case, the research actually kind of agrees with Ronnie Coleman and Arnold Schwarzenegger. I know people don't want to hear that. They're like, what? Is that even possible? The form was so loose. And how about all that? But it's like, okay, guys, but it worked for them.
They didn't build any muscle, man. Oh, my God, bro. They were stupid lifting heavy. Ronnie Coleman was an idiot. Like Dorian Yates said, there's no purpose in lifting those heavy weights like he did. That's why he destroyed himself. What a fool. You have to be a dummy to take a drug and lift a stupid goddamn heavy weight on a weak ass body so you could destroy it like a fool and now end up in a wheelchair. Even Dorian Yates figured that out at one point. He said he hurt his back. He could no longer squat. He also wrecked his shoulders. He can't lift anything heavy anymore.
And I think what people have to remember, and I'll jump into kind of what the research and stuff has said, at the end of the day, the guys who are number one in something like that, keep in mind they're competing against tons of other guys with great genetics for their endeavor. They're competing against tons of other guys on tons and tons and tons of stuff. So we need to be clear on that, right?
Your body naturally will never ever allow you to lift heavier than it can manage. So if you inject something that allows you to lift heavier than your body can manage, you are destroying your body. You are an idiot because I want to look cool lifting a heavy weight. Like Blaha, we're going to deadlift 900 pounds. We're going to squat 900. Yeah, okay, shut up.
We need to be really, really clear when you're thinking about some of these top pro bodybuilders. You can't say, well, they only got there because of the drugs or the genetics. Well, yeah, those are clear.
They did get there because of the drugs. The genetics of the drugs. That's what made them get there, okay? And it's all fake.
Early factors. But everyone they're competing against has that same advantage. So we need to be clear on that. Every person that they are beating,
Oh, yeah.
the guy in 7th place is still on tons of drugs and has really good genetics for bodybuilding.
No, they don't. You mean they have good symmetry for bodybuilding? Yeah, if you have good symmetry and height for bodybuilding, that really helps. But if you have very good genetics you're injecting, that really could help even more. So some plant genetics are better than others. Like Trenbolone is very good plant genetics compared to maybe Sustanon, I don't know, or D-bol. Which one's better, D-bol, Anadrol, Sustanon? Maybe Anavar. Anavar is pretty good, right? People like Anavar a lot. That's pretty good plant genetics, isn't it? When you inject it, what type of genetics does it form in your body? The look that it gives you. See what I mean? You understand me? Blaha's an idiot.
See what I mean? So if that was the key, then why is he 7th place? So again, success leaves clues. And you look at some of their form that's like,
maybe because they have poor symmetry. I don't know, bro. Some people have better symmetry for bodybuilding than other people. All right? See what I mean? So it doesn't matter how much genetics they inject, plant genetics they inject in their butt. They're never going to be able to change that symmetry, that look. Yeah, it's kind of obvious.
definitely a little bit loose, especially those two guys, perfect examples. Yet they both won a lot. Well, you have to look at that in comparison and go, well, they clearly got something right. I mean, again, let's step back and answer that question. They are competing against guys on lots of stuff who also have really good genetics for bodybuilding. Well, clearly they must have done a few things right. They couldn't have done everything wrong or they wouldn't have been winning. Just saying, success leaves clues.
Yeah.
And I would
Look at Ronnie Coleman. He was losing, and then he took some really good plant genetics, and then he started using better plant genetics, and then he came back, and look, he beat the competition. Yeah, just like Dorian Yates, he said, I started taking HGH. It was a game changer. When he took synthetic plant growth hormones, these genetics called GHGH from plants, these, whatever, he did better. He was killing it, bro. Get it?
look at some of that and say, yet they still work the muscles, okay? So step back and watch. I mean, people will look at Arnold curl or do rows or any of the things. And Ronnie Coleman, the same thing. Watch Ronnie Coleman curl. Watch him do front raises. Watch him do a lot of raises. Like he uses a lot of body English, a lot of swing. The form is very loose. Okay? But what do you notice with that form? There's still tension.
We're the College of Dental Hygienists.
But what do you notice with that form? There's still...
Dude, they could have done anything and they would have got pumped up because that's the amount of plant genetics they're taking to pump them up, the sarcoplasm.
Tension, like even though there's other muscles involved, you're watching his front raises. Well, the front and the side delts and the upper trap.
Look, man, have any of you ever taken steroids? No, probably not, okay? So, if you want to find out what steroids do, then go take some. Go take a bit of it. You don't have to take a lot. Take some and go lift in the gym, okay? And then see if those so-called gains are going to hang around. See if you built myofibulars because all you did was lift conventionally, the same you were doing. All you people that reached your so-called, let's give it to the people that reached their genetic limit, newbie gain limit, hard gainer, whatever bullshit. So you go and take those drugs, all right? Take a little bit, get pumped up, whatever. I don't know, whatever, dude. And go see if those muscles are going to hang around after you go off. No, they're not. You want to know why? Because you're still lifting the way you did, which failed you in the beginning. That's your problem. Until you change what you're supposed to, myofibular growth only builds in the eccentric. It doesn't build in the concentric, especially when you're fucking adapted to your exercises.
You're still doing.
And that eccentric is adapted because it's constrained by the concentric.
Most of the work, right? There's still going to be the muscles that fail. If you took it to failure, or is the hips or the everything's contributing going to failure? No. Are the muscles he's trying to work going to failure? Yes. Same thing with his curls. Yeah, there's definitely some.
See, are you listening to Blaha? Going to failure. You will fail. You might eke out some gains going to failure if it's totally unaccustomed to doing that. But man, you don't want to take 35, 40 years to get there, dude.
Front delt, there's definitely other stuff happening with what he's doing. But are the biceps the muscle that is most likely to reach enough fatigue to fail first?
Yes, fatigue, yes, to reach the fatigue. Here, let me make it really hard on myself. I'm going to take the bicycle and go around the world while you take a sports car. Well, let's see who makes it first around the world. Oh, don't worry. I'm going to fatigue myself on the bicycle. I'm going to make it there one day. Why would you take the hardest route to get there, bro? This is stupid.
Yes, same thing. You watch Arnold stuff. Watch Arnold row, watch Arnold curl biceps, or then the lats, in that case, the lats.
I watch Arnold. You know, it's just like these people. Let's say there's a marathon. You guys are all running, right? And then you have a twin. He's waiting for you, I don't know, 15 miles ahead, okay? 15, 20 miles before you finish the race. He's waiting for you. So you run the first 20, whatever. And then he pops into the race and then he wins the rest, right? You understand me? And then he jumps up and down. Hurrah, I won and everything, right? You know what I mean? But you faked it. You faked the win because your twin ran into the race while you took off and he finished the race for you. He won it for you. In other words, you cheated. You didn't really win the race. It wasn't you that won. It was your twin. You understand me? The same thing with steroids. You went there, you took a steroid. What did you build? Nothing. Those bodybuilders are doing it for income, bro. It's their job. It's fake. So you want to fake it too? It doesn't make any sense. You're not competing. You're not doing anything. Why do you need to take drugs? Oh, because I want to show off to my friends I can lift a heavy weight. Or I want to show them what kind of fake muscles I built. Come on, man. Wake up.
And the traps and everything. That was probably failing when he's doing those loose rows. Yeah. Yes, he's got a lot more low back. Yes, he's got some hip drive. But that's probably not what's reaching muscle failure. And if anything, some of that is actually getting some positive training stimulus. Is it not? So you have
They're not getting anything, man. It's temporary and it's for their job, okay?
to look at those things and go, okay, yeah, it's obviously still working the muscles.
You understand mental illness when you actually are confronted by it? It's right here, right in front of you. This is mental illness. This dude suffers from mental illness. A lot of the people in the fitness industry suffer from mental illness, dude. You don't, you people, are you that blind? Can you not see that the fitness industry is based on mentally sick people? Mental ill, bro. They're mentally ill, bro. They're so sick. They even come to my channel. They try to make fun of me, bro. They try to scream and yell at me. They want to, if I give out the secret, they're going to kill me and everything. That's what happened with my original channel when I started. I barely even started. And they were like, you're revealing the secret. You're telling everybody we're going to kill you. If you monetize your channel, you're dead, man, and all this. They told me all these nasty things, bro. That's why I was pissed. And I never really came out completely with the secret. Until, I don't know, until about last year, around November or something, I started to reveal that it's really based on eccentric overload. I just used one word, overload, and I connected it with the eccentric. I've always talked about eccentric exercises, but people never really listened. They never really understood, I guess. Now, I said how I started an overworking of that muscle, but it really based on the eccentric, even though I'm lifting in a full range of motion. See what I mean? That's a difference. Now, as an advanced lifter, you move from that into the overload. Yeah. As soon as I said eccentric overload, bam, bro, my channel just took off again. It took off even more. And more people are watching and actually doing it. And they're more interested now. You understand me? Because I finally told them it's based on eccentric overload, this damage, to build your body big and strong.
So then when you look at the research, what they found is pretty bad form, pretty loose form. It seems to cause pretty much the same muscle as strict form, with one caveat.
You know, people ask me, why doesn't the fitness industry talk about eccentric overload? Because they don't want you to know what builds muscles, bro. Get it? They want you to fail consistently so they can sell you Turkestrons, all these products. These exercise books, these stupid anabolic cookbooks, fake estrogenic cookbooks, and these stupid supplements, GO2 Max and, I don't know, Turkestrons, creatines, whatever else the fuck they're promoting there, and these protein powders. It's an industry built on lies, but people are just too stupid to see it. See, my channel will never grow. You want to know why? Because real doesn't work in the fitness industry. They'll do anything to defeat me and my videos. Yeah, because they don't want you to know the secret. And there's still people that come to my channel and pretend because they're retarded. They're so brainwashed by the fitness industry. Look, I lift a heavy weight. I built muscle. I lifted a heavy weight off the floor. Sure you did. Yeah. Keep convincing yourself that lifting that heavy weight, bouncing it off the floor, built you a muscle. Yeah.
Was it performed in such a way where
in a short range of motion, if anything? Yeah, sure.
Main muscle still is getting really good stimulus. So even if other muscles are helping, was the muscle you were working getting really good stimulus? If the answer is yes.
Yes, the muscle you're lifting is giving you really good stimulus.
And if it's what's failing first, it tends to...
Could you imagine if humans had no carbohydrates in their diet, if they ate the way they did as hunters? There's no carbohydrates, right? Number one, no carbohydrates. What would these lifters look like in the gym? Even the natural lifters lifting. What would they look like? Number two, let's say there was no steroids either. No steroids and no carbohydrates, just animal products. What would you look like? You wouldn't look anything like the people who look like today.
Grow just as well as doing a same amount of fatigue set with strict.
Blaha has the ugliest physique I've ever seen. He looks funny from the side, from the front. It's those, he can't stop eating the slave food diet, and you are what you eat. That's why Blaha looks as bad as he does. He doesn't understand. It has nothing to do with lifting weights. It has everything to do with what you're eating.
Perform, okay? So that's what we have to remember there, right? What's our real concern then? Possible injury. Realistically, really loose form. Your biggest concern is going to be injury. It will also be, can you keep tension?
There's all these women that have stopped eating carbs and they start eating so-called what you call carnivore diet. And then they go, look at my transformation. Oh, man. Bro, you really have to laugh at this whole transformation bullshit. You know that? Christ. Or these crazy people that lift the very first time they lift some weights and they gain some so-called newbie gains, and then they adapt it to their exercise. They go, look, my transformation, but it's mostly based on losing fat. So they dropped eating the slave food diet, they ate animal products, and they go, look at my transformation. In the lifting world, that's the same thing. They just dropped the carbs. They started eating or whatever, I don't know. Either they starved themselves, dropped the carbs, they eat animal products, and they go, look at my transformation. And these women, the same thing. They start eating meat, and they look at my transformation. Well, your body just really went back to something called homeostasis. I love this pose. Look at Blaha. He looks funny, man. What is he? He's putting his arms up in the air like he just did this exercise, like his lats are flaring. Look at him. What is this? This is fucking hilarious.
Tension on the muscle you're trying to work.
He's so funny. He's so small. The closer he comes to the camera, the smaller he gets because he's tiny. Look. He's tiny. Look at him. That's what he looks like, bro. Blaha is small. Look at his legs. Does bro actually do squats? Does bro squat? Because people always tell me stupid shit. I got big legs, bro. I'm heavy, man. I weigh a lot. Look at Blaha. No arms, no shoulders, nothing. No legs, no calves. See? Man, whatever.
Okay.
This is funny.
And I think that really has to be asked, right? So is your form loose enough that you're feeling the other muscles do a ton of work? Or is the bicep or the delt or the quad or whatever you're trying to work still getting the brunt of it?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so again, that's kind of what they're fighting. Now, if it's so sloppy that muscle really isn't getting a significant stimulus,
yeah,
right, then it's going to be different. But a little bit of swinging absolutely doesn't stop it. And you want proof. Why do compound movements work? If people say, well, it's not isolating, but neither is a row. A row doesn't isolate the lats. You still
look at him. Watch him shorten his muscles, his calf muscles. He's doing exercises to shorten them. Well, I mean, it's not even heavy enough either. Look, 245-pound plates, like that's going to do jack shit.
Even a strict row doesn't isolate the lats. A strict squat doesn't isolate the quads. A strict leg press doesn't isolate the quads. Hell, a glute ham raise doesn't even...
Look, this is an isometric, concentric exercise. Look, watch, look. He's pumping them up. He's pumping them.
Isolate the glutes. It works on less than the ham.
See, he's not stretching them to get them to grow myofibrillar growth. He's pumping them so they can pump up.
Strings, but it still doesn't isolate it. See where we're going with this?
Yeah.
How about chin-ups? They don't isolate the biceps or the lats, but they build both decently. They also build your traps. You see where we're going? A lateral raise doesn't even isolate the side delts. When locked in a machine, it still works the front delt, the rear delt, the upper trap. Makes all of them grow to some extent. So just because other muscles are, for example, doing
Blaha doesn't even know how to engage muscles. Nobody does, because the muscle has a very short range of motion. Even if it isn't a full range of motion, think about this for an example. Let's say you're using your trap muscles, your traps. So you're holding on to a weight or whatever, cable or weight or something. You're using your trap muscle, okay? So it's not based on you pushing your shoulder up in the air. It's based on the trap muscle moving the weight up and down. Again, the range of motion is very short, like your back muscles. If you're rowing your back muscles, the range of motion is short. But if you're using your arms, well, there people are going to say, they're using their arms as a long range of motion. It's not, bro. You're using your arms. You're rowing with your arm. Your arm is bending. Like I said, Blaha doesn't know how to exercise properly. Nobody does in the gym. They don't understand exercise. They don't understand the different ranges of motions in muscle groups. Some muscles have very short ranges of motion compared to others. See what I mean? It's a very short range of motion. Your arm and your lat may have a longer range of motion, but your back muscles, they have a shorter range of motion because they can only move backwards so far with the shoulder blades and your back squeezing. They can only move so much backward and forward. Even your trap muscle has a very short range of motion. It can only go up and down. Now your arm has a longer range of motion, right? Because it's got an elbow, so it could go down and all the way up again. Yeah, that's a longer range of motion. Your legs have a longer range of motion. But like I said, people don't know how to exercise because they don't think about the range of motion. They don't get it. So what do? They use shoulders, they use arms a lot. They use their arms a lot. Man, a lot.
A dip here. Dips are a great chest and tricep exercise. So because the chest is so involved in a dip, does that mean the triceps don't grow?
No, they get stretched on the bottom. The triceps get stretched, so do the shoulders and the chest. But yeah, I'm aware that it focuses on different muscle fiber type. You're hitting a different muscle fiber type doing these dips because there are different types of fibers in the muscle. See what I mean? Me personally, for damage and growth, I like the bench press. The bench press is really, really good. But that doesn't mean I hate dips. I think it's a great exercise, bro. It's going to develop other muscle types, other muscle fiber types in the type 2. We call it hybrid muscles. These hybrid muscles, they're different types there.
Go do a set of weighted dips all the way down to failure and come back and tell me your triceps did not get an insane pump. Come on.
What? An insane pump or an insane muscle damage? See, Blaha, he's just pumping, I told you.
There's other muscles involved, and the same could be said when using a little looser form.
Okay.
As long as the muscle you are trying to work gets us very significant stimulus to the point to where it can actually get very close to muscle failure, or even be the muscle that fails if you take the exercise to failure, you're going to get good stimulus from it, and that's the thing to remember.
You're going to get good stimulus from it. Yeah, I'm not looking to stimulate anything. I'm looking to damage, dude. I don't give a shit about stimulus.
Remember. All right, guys, well, that's really all I have to say on that.
He's looking to stimulate it with the pump. I'll see you in the next one, friends. Don't you think about that? Like, subscribe, support the channel. It went way too long. Blaha is just wasting his time all over again, and your time.